Kyotsuke, Rei. Okay. This last segment is on drag and counter techniques. Okay. And this is mostly going to be on the ground. Most of this stuff is going to come from Sensei Hal. It's radically different from a lot of traditional jiu-jitsu. And after I became a black belt with Seki, after about a year or so, I said, there's some things missing from what Seki's teaching, and I'd heard about Hal, so I went and I said, can I also study on you? And then Seki was aware of what was required. If you are in a situation where you have two sensei, they both have to know what's going on. And Seki's attitude was the same as Hal, which was, when you come into my dojo, you leave what you learned elsewhere outside. And that worked, okay? But what the Katsuga did was fill in some gaps that I felt that Seki had, because he was very traditional and everything was stand-up. Yeah, we did stuff on the ground where you did stand-up techniques, on the ground, and hand throws and, arm bars and all that other stuff, but it was all a very traditional approach. Hal, on the other hand, has a very non-traditional approach. The stuff looks, compared to, and I'm going to make a comparison here, Danzanryu is very arty compared to Budoshin. Budoshin is very arty compared to Katsugo. Okay? It looks sloppy. It looks, like, how in the hell does that stuff work? But it does. And it's really simple stuff as much as traditional jiu-jitsu is. Okay, all based on simple concepts. So you just have to, and Hal did not use Japanese names for anything, much less English names for anything. And he said, this is a technique for someone dragging you across the floor. And I don't know if did he have names for a lot of stuff, or?
More categories.
More categories, yeah. And I was able to keep both separate, but it's when I got into teaching, I kind of brought them together as I thought I best could, and so that's why it's part of the Budoshin system. But that's what we're going to work on. The techniques, the ones we're going to work on today, it's probably going to be impossible for safety's sake for everyone to be out on the mat at the same time. Drags and counters usually involve a couple of attackers and one person who's trying to defend themselves. Okay, so a lot of times you're going to be working in teams of 3. And because of that, we may have to limit ourselves on some techniques down to only having 2 teams up at a time. Okay, which is the downside. But the techniques, if you just do them the way they're instructed, they are dirt simple, they work, you know everything already. Okay, so you're not going to learn any new concept anywhere. Okay, so first what we're going to do is I need someone who is capable of falling backwards. And I don't know if I may have too much body mass to complete the technique. I'm trying to say that very tactfully. But I'm sure when you get someone lighter, which is most of you, you will have no problems finishing this technique up. Okay, but I need someone who can, bigger, taller than I am, who doesn't mind falling backwards. Okay. And I'm going to start off on the ground. Start off over here because this is a good spot to start. And he's going to grab my legs over at that end. Wrong end for legs. Okay. And he's going to pull me. Okay, now, the one thing you do not want to do is try to sit up. If you try to sit up, your little butt's going to skirt across the mat and you're not going to be able to do anything. Okay? So as he pulls, what I want to do is simply bend my legs, grab his pants or pant legs, and straighten my legs up. Okay? It brought me up. Okay, cool, it worked. Okay. If he tries to, okay, from here, let me get my feet out from under him. Okay. From here, I can strike into the groin as he sits up. From that reaction, I can hit him in the face, and we can do this all day until he stops moving. Okay? Now, Now, the reality of the technique is that if you do this and you come up fast, he's going to go down fast. Odds are he's going to get a concussion. You won't have to do any of this. Okay? That's the ideal situation, and that's not unusual. The hard part is not sitting up. So how do you get into this position? Okay? All I want him to do is to hold on to my legs. Hold on. Okay, he's here. All I'm going to do is flex my legs. And as he's pulling, it'll pull me right into him, where I can grab his pant legs, or even better, I can hook around the back of his legs. From here, all I do is I'm going to go for a ride. Okay? I'm going to straighten my legs and hold on. I'm not going to try to sit up. If I try to sit up, I fall back down. Okay? So he can stand here. All I do is straighten my legs, and lo and behold, I come up. Physics is cool. Okay? So this is all I want you to do. Okay? It's a dirt simple technique. You don't sit up. You just flex and straighten your legs, and that's all it takes. Okay? Any questions on this? Okay? This is for one person with the legs on one leg on each side. Okay? Very good. Let's see what happens. Now, we're going to have, I think we can run. This didn't take too much time. Oh, geez, money! 55 cents. Is that yours?
No, I think it was mine.
Yeah.
I don't remember having any money on me.
Upside down and see which one it is.
If you do it here, money from heaven. Okay. Okay. I think we can run. Yeah, we can run. Yeah, in the middle, or we can run them all four lengthwise. No, not four lengthwise. We can run two that way.
Attackers outside.
Yeah.
Go this way. Before they get safe to the mat.
Yeah. And you can try this, but keep in mind you don't have all day. But again, the rule is do not try to sit up, because that will be your undoing. Okay, very good. So let's find someone who you want to play with. This next time we're going to have the person, he's going to have both your feet under his arm, one side. Okay, this is actually easier to deal with. Okay, and it's not as much. So is there anybody who wants to grab both my legs on one side of them to kind of hook them? Yeah. Well, okay, I'm here under the arm, just one side. Okay, that's the attack, and he's going to drag me along. Okay, now I'm losing my pants. Just
Hold on.
Okay, now.
That video's the one that's going to pay for all.
Okay. Now, okay, the way out of this, okay, if they have you here, the work is done with the feet, okay? All I'm going to do is the foot that's on the outside, whether it be right or left. On the right side, the right foot would be out. All I have to do, this is much like dealing with a headlock. Okay? I'm going to turn my left foot out. That creates a gap. Right foot comes out. It's dirt simple. You know what happens next.
Yep.
Don't try and sit up. Just straighten your heel out where it should go. Okay? Don't turn to the left, don't turn to the right. Because everything is lined up, because he's trying to pull you, and he hasn't realized you've taken your leg out, and he's going to get your heel someplace else. Okay? So again, he's going to grab, okay, he's going to pull, take the leg out, and smash in. Okay? You got to keep this, the reason you have to keep this turned out, hold it again, because you keep it turned out so that you stay with him. If you straighten this leg out and you've pulled this leg out, okay, you're not going to, nothing's going to happen. Okay? So that's what we're going to have you do next. And then we're going to do a two-man or a two-person grab and drag and pull. Okay, which is more fun. Okay, very good. Let's see what happens. Problematic because I have a lot of mass. So I need, let's do something sane here. We'll use Paul as the poor victim. And we'll have two guys, okay, I want one person at each end of him. One person's going to, you're lying down, Paul. One person's going to grab your feet. Either way, both, well, don't do anything. Either both on one side or one on each side. That's your discretion.
Can I move you back?
Yeah, move back a little bit.
Swing him.
Swing him. Poor Paul. Okay, now, what Paul is, you can grab his feet. We're not going to do anything yet. What Paul is going to do, okay, you need to take care of that person first.
Hand person?
Okay, no, you're working too hard. All I want you to do, he's going to pull you, all I want you to do is, I'm going to tell you what to do. You're going to turn your hands out one way and the other, get it both released. Yes, it will drop you to the ground. You're then going to reach back with one hand, trap a leg, and the other hand is going to form into a fist and smash right up the crotch. Okay? Once you get...
Better you than me, Clay.
Once he is dealing with his own problem, then you can do either of the 2-foot techniques on him, or you can, if you can take, either of the two. So you're going to do the one where you just sit up on him and give him a blessing too in the same place. Okay? Okay, so let's see if this works. Okay, now bend your feet in. You're pulling him. Hey. Okay, that's how it's supposed to work. Okay?
So we're combining two techniques.
We're combining two techniques. That's why I taught the pull on its own first, because dependent upon how the person grabs your feet is going to determine what you do to get out.
Sensei, what did
Yes.
you do to get...
All he did was turn his hands one way or the other to release the grip,
That's it, okay.
and then as he went down, he hooked one hand around one of the legs, and the other hand just went straight up into the crotch.
One more time, please.
Yeah. And then he came after you.
This time we'll do it. Yep, I'll be ready to attack on both ends.
Okay.
Of course.
Now, and yes, if you only want to do this one time, you only have to do it once, okay? Like I said, Hal's stuff is kind of unusual, but it does work, okay? It's totally different from traditional stuff, but where in traditional jiu-jitsu do they teach you how to deal with a two-man carry? And, or a drag, or, these are more modern type attacks. I'm sorry. These are more modern.
Say all that again now.
Okay. The techniques work. They're simple. They're different from traditional jiu-jitsu, and this is why some people are hesitant to do them. But they're more modern attacks, and you have you have a responsibility to teach your students how to respond to that. Okay. And they're easy techniques, even though they may be as embarrassing as hell for you to do at times, okay? But one of the problems in terms of self-defense is that we can't worry about being embarrassed, okay? And even if I lost my pants here, okay, you still go on with the technique, okay? Yes?
I just wanted to say that this is something that actually happens to women all the time.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of boisterous friends. Some of them will see me like lying on the grass reading a book or something like that, and they'll come up and grab me by my legs and start dragging me off just for the heck of it. No ill intention made. And all you have to do is, like, I think I could probably just do one of those little shark bites or something instead of a punch to the groin. These are people I'm friends with.
Right.
Right? And but
Help your friends.
Make it so that you need new friends.
No, these are really interesting people.
Well, as Harold said, you help your friends.
Yeah, true.
Okay? So I want you to try this at least once or twice, and then we'll go on. Sometimes someone may simply try to drag you off on your own by your hands, okay? And this is something I think most of my students are familiar with this technique, you're either going to be doing what ultimately turns out to be a shoulder lock rotate down, or you're going to be doing essentially a corkscrew. But you as a defender are going to be on the ground when you do this. Okay? Couple safety things. First of all, when you rotate on the ground, first of all, don't try and get up. One of the big mistakes people make when defending themselves on the ground is they're spending most of their energy trying to get up. And that's where you're going to get hurt. You don't try to get up until the other person is down and you're out of danger. Okay? So don't try and get up. Secondly, if you're rotating or turning, you have to keep going. You do not get, standing up, if you screw up, you can step back. There are all sorts of things you can do to get out of an attack situation and re-engage. On the ground, you do not get a second chance. Okay? Whatever you do, you have to commit to. Okay? You can't change direction and turn the other way. It's not going to work. So we're going to have, the other thing is the person whom the technique is being done on, please do not resist. Just take the fall. The person doing the technique rotates slowly so the person that you are working with can take the fall either forward or backwards. And you'll pick up really soon in the execution of the technique which way you're going to have to fall unless you want to have a really serious injury. Okay? So in any case, like I said yesterday, the purpose of Jiu-Jitsu techniques, submission, well, we call them submissions, the purpose of any hold or lock is to injure the person. Okay? Ultimately, that's the intent. And this technique will do it quite easily. So I need a uke. Everyone volunteer?
I'll go.
Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do, we'll just do it this way this time. Now, he can be grabbing one hand or two hands. It doesn't matter. Okay? It doesn't matter. Two hands is fun. Okay. All you're going to do is take one hand and turn and grab hold of the other. Okay, that's all you have to do. Now, I've started my turn to my right. So what I'm going to do is continue to turn, grab hold, and I am going to keep turning until he's down. Okay, do the turn slowly so he can fall. If you do it quickly, he is going to fall. He's also going to be injured. If I go the other way, just stand here. Okay. If I go the other way and I grab here, let's see, and I go this, nope, I grab this hand and I turn this way, he's still going to go forward, but he's going to fall differently. Okay? And do this slowly for his safety. I'm not concerned about me. Okay?
So you can grab either hand and go either way.
You can go either way, it doesn't matter. If he's just grabbing one hand with both his hands, just grab one of his. It doesn't matter. Well, it does. That's going to have to be his right because both his hands are taken up. Okay? But again, I can turn one way or I can turn the other. I usually, since I'm coming up this way, will continue to go to my right. Okay? If he's grabbing my left instead of my right, I will probably go to my left. Okay?
We'll do a header right there, sensei.
Yeah, well, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
There are only two ways I can fall.
There are only two ways he can fall.
One way is not as bad as the other.
One way is not as bad as the other. But that's why I say execute the technique slowly to protect your uke. Because I want you to come back tomorrow. Okay? In one piece on the mat. Okay? So there's some real cooperation required on this technique. I have all the leverage in the world down here. Okay? I've got all the torque in the world. Okay? I can put someone, you can put someone into the mat, they will not get up.
It's a very long lever.
What?
It's a very long lever.
Yes. Yeah. It's you have a phenomenal amount of, I don't like to use the word strength. I'll say you have a phenomenal amount of leverage and torque down here.
We have a student named Coral who's 13 years old and absolutely the smallest person in the class. This is her favorite attack. because she can take down the biggest person, 280 pounds, and drop them on the mat. And they're asking her to slow down because they're afraid she's going to hurt them.
And then she shark bites them to death.
Oh, yeah. I got to bleep that
She's just
from the
learning
video.
when she's married. That's
What?
the shark bite. She's just learning for when she is married.
Bad.
When they really drink.
Okay. Okay, I want you to come out. We can do 2 teams at a time. Okay. And I want you to try this at least once each direction. Okay, so come out with someone who's got an arm or two. You're on the ground, attacker is approaching you. Okay. Who wants to be uke on it? It's no dragon pull anymore.
There's no dragon pull.
No, but it's
I just can't.
your leg just gets attacked.
Your fault. What do you want to do?
Okay, just see, how do we get this best photographically? Let's have me.
Well, you don't want me.
Okay. I'm on the ground. Whatever reason. Okay, he's coming in towards me. Okay.
What's my intent?
Well, whatever you're going to do, I'm not worried about it. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Okay, now, what I want to do is I've got to hook a leg. Okay, and I'm going for the back leg, and this looks like it's here. Okay, what I want to do is hook that leg, whichever leg I can get. Then this leg is going to thrust against the kneecap and take him back and down. Okay, it should dislocate the leg. Okay, it's real simple. Okay, if you can get in with, come in again, walk in. If I can get here and hook and set this up, this is just like doing an arm bar, except you're using his leg. Okay.
Are you on the kneecap, above the kneecap?
I am just below the kneecap. Yeah. Because I wanted to, this. If I get above the kneecap, he can rotate and stuff, and it may not work. If you get right below the kneecap, your foot fits in there really nicely. Okay, God made things work for us. Okay, and I'm not gonna push. I'm basically pushing straight, but because I'm under his kneecap, I can go upward slightly. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to hook here. I'm going to push, and I'm going to. I don't. If I want to, I can pull this up, but I really don't have to. That's trapping his foot. So I want you to try this.
One more time.
Okay.
This way again, coming in.
The other way.
You're coming in that angle.
I come in from this
And
angle.
I'll set you back and
You want it?
just put your head back this way.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You won't be able to complete the throw. Yeah, he's going to.
Yeah.
Maybe if I come from.
I will. Yeah.
It's closer.
Okay. I'm here. He steps in. I'm just going to hook. Okay. Then all I have to do is push back. Now on the street, you're going to do this a lot faster. Okay. It takes approximately 40 pounds to dislocate a knee. Okay. A 10-year-old can do that if they know what they're doing. Okay. It happens. If you're on the ground, someone's approaching you, you know they're going to attack you. What are you waiting for? For them to attack you so you can do something else? Okay. If they've knocked you down, etc., 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 and you also have to realize that once you dislocate their kneecap, especially if they're on drugs, they're not going to feel the pain, but they can't come after you anymore, and at least not as fast as you can run. Okay. So I want you to try this a couple, 3 times a piece. It's dirt simple. Okay. Let's go. Thank you. And I think we had this discussion Thursday night in class dealing with nerves. Some of you are kind of sort of doing the technique and it's locked, I know what's happening, we don't have to go any further. Okay. As an uke, you have to be willing to take the technique. The tori, the person doing the technique, is not doing it full bore. They're not trying to hurt you. They're not trying to injure you. They're only going to use as much pressure as you go backwards and down. They're just going to keep the pressure on the joint. They're not going to have your leg bend the other way. The Tori needs to learn how the technique feels when it is being done properly. You, as the uke, need to learn how the technique feels when it's being done properly, so that when you are the Tori and doing the technique, you will know what's happening to the uke. The uke doesn't care what's happening to you on the street. His concern is, oh my God, my kneecap cap is locked and now it's dislocated. Okay, that's his only concern. Okay, but if you know you're doing the technique right and you do it by feel, rather than trying to look and see and asking, okay, you're going to be successful with it. Yes, sir.
I'm going to tell you, as an uke, I really think the guy on the street isn't going to know it's happening.
Yes, you're right.
Until it's too late.
Yes.
He's going to keep coming into you.
Yes.
And actually making it worse for himself.
Yes.
Because he's focused on your
yes.
this part, and that's still laying there, not really moving. He thinks he's still got it.
Yes.
And I really don't think he's going to recognize what's happening or even feel it until it's too late. He'll come in and make it worse on himself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is on the street, he isn't going to be thinking, how does this technique feel? What do I need to do to protect myself? All this other stuff that you're thinking of in here, okay? But you need to allow the Tori to do the technique so that, like I said, he knows what it feels like when it's done properly, and you know what's happening to the uke, the person, the attacker, if it's done properly, okay? Jiu-Jitsu is a, for lack of a better phrase, is a feel-good martial art, okay? It's done by feel. You could be blind and this stuff would still work. You can be deaf and this stuff will still work, okay? It's by feel. Okay, so please, try and help each other, seriously. Okay, let's go again. Almost identical technique occurs if, and a lot of it depends upon the angle of the person who's coming into you, okay? If they're coming into you at a acute angle of probably less than 45 degrees, you can do this knee lock on them and take them down. If they're coming in at you from 45 degrees on, you've got to work in the opposite direction, okay? And let me borrow, who do I want to borrow? And we're going to do it from this angle. Okay. Oh, this up and down is getting tiresome. Okay, if he's coming in, and let's say a right angle, if he's stepping in, okay, now up here, get down lower so I can do the opposite technique. Up here you've got a different situation. If he comes in, okay, come in. Okay, and he's in here. Okay, what I have to do is hook the leg in here, and this leg is going to come in with it's not a push. You're going to wind it up and really whack him from behind, take him down. Okay, and then theoretically you're supposed to be able to continue to roll, separate his knee joint. I have never seen that. People get hung up about halfway into it because they find that their legs won't turn anymore. Okay. But again, if he comes in at a more right angle, you just hook in. You can't do this one because you're at his side. Okay, so the foot goes in the same place. Here, this just comes around, trap him, take him down. Okay, now my response from here. I am not in a safe position yet. Okay, he just got knocked down. Okay, I have a couple choices I can do that are really nice. Okay, number one, I can continue to turn. This can come up. I could go for the kidneys is a hard thing to get in this position, but a heel to the rectum can rectum. Okay, and if you do it right, he's going to have immediate need of a facility. Well, actually, it's too late. Okay.
Oh. Hit that sphincter.
Yeah, you hit that bad pun. You hit that sphincter and it's all over.
Is that on tape too? Oh yeah.
Anyways, that's the final round.
We've been at it for too long. Just wait till tomorrow. No, but in all seriousness, a good heel stomp down, take 2 or 3 if you have to, into that area, you are bound to get the sphincter muscle to relax. Okay?
It's going to spasm.
What?
I'm an EMT. I can talk like this. It's going to spasm. He's going to lose.
Yeah, and that's what you're after. I mean, is it an injury? No. Psychologically, is it? It's incredible. Okay, because this really you get back down to something primitive. I haven't done this since I've been a baby. What do I do? Where do I go? I mean, these are things that run through your mind rather than the fact that you've tried to attack someone and now you've got something else to carry around with you.
You've already gone.
Yeah, but that's the reality too. Okay, so I want you to try this. Okay, and then we shall go on. Okay, let's go. We're going to have you down on the ground again. Okay, and where did Vince go? Let's get around here. Okay, he came in kind of high. Someone's going to try to kick you in the stomach or face or upper part of your body. Okay, unless you are really built weird or have a short torso and really long legs, you can't swing your body around to trap his legs. It's not going to happen. Okay, and so the first thing you have to do, because he's this close and he's coming in with a kick, is you have to protect your body and your head. Okay, so as he comes in, you are not going to reach for him or anything. He is going to come in with a kick. You're going to bring your knees up and fist, arms down, and block. Okay, you have to protect yourself, because if you get a kick in the face, you're not going to be able to do anything. From this position, okay, you're going to take the lower hand. Once you block, immediately hook the heel. Okay, now, all I'm going to do, I'm not going to try and get up. If I try and get up, I can't do it. All I'm going to do is this, watch, I'll turn this around in a minute and see the angle. This is going to go in a nice circle as I rotate. Okay, I'm going to stay as low to the ground as I can. I'm going to rotate, smash, and out. Okay? You do not have to look where your elbow is going to go. Amazingly, human anatomy is all relative, and if you stay down and roll up his leg, your elbow will get to the crotch or someplace slightly above it. And as long as it's below the belly button, that's all that matters. It's going to hurt. Okay? Where people mess up, let's turn a little bit of an angle here. Where people mess up on this technique, they block fine, they get here, and then they think they've got to get up. And your action of getting up is going to make it impossible for you to turn. Or they'll try and do this with their forearm, and that isn't it. That's a lot of work. You're going to only get it if you're lucky. What you want to do is turn. Pretend you're doing a makikomi, around and down. Just hold up. Bang. Okay? Then roll out. If you want to do a couple hits, fine. That's up to you. Okay? If you're lucky he got a concussion, he won't feel what you do to his crotch. Okay? Okay? It's an easy technique as long as you don't try to get up. Okay? So we're going to have you try this. We're going to start here. Okay? So the attackers will fall in that direction. Okay? And I think we can get 3 teams up at a time. Okay? Let's go. We got fun. So a little fun time here. Let's do a foot stomp to the face. That's good. Okay. And some of this is, I think, a review from last year, but we do it so rarely that, like, only at camp. But foot stomps are not uncommon. Okay? And if you can do it in the dojo with your uke wearing a shoe, it is so much more impressive. Okay. However, if they are wearing a shoe or a boot, you're going to have to be a lot more careful with them in executing the technique. when I first started teaching jiu-jitsu and with the city of Burbank decades ago, and the insurance company, you're teaching jiu-jitsu, we want you wearing headgear, we want you wearing forearm pads, we want everybody wearing a cup, we want shin pads. And I said, okay, do you realize you're going to have a far higher injury rate? And their response was, wow, you're wearing all this protective gear. And I said, yes, protective gear is wonderful for impacts, but when you're dealing with people's joints and extremities, what happens is you can't get a feel for the body, so you tend to use more force and more effort, and as a result you have more injuries. And there was a long pause, and they said, okay, let's get rid of the equipment. Okay. Sometimes if people say you got to do this, and you can come up with a really logical, common sense explanation, they'll actually go for it. Okay. Yes, in Seki's class we wore forearm pads, padding back the hand. If he expected us to wear a cup occasionally, he'd walk around with a hand bow, everyone line up, and go, you know, clunk, 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 thud as the person bent over. He would do that. You can't do that anymore today. Not because guys aren't wearing cups, but because it would be considered an assault, probably, you know. But we wore all that. We wore all the padding because we were a lot more aggressive back then in terms of blocking and things of that sort. We were, especially the brown and black belts, were expected to be. And the advantage of the padding, surprisingly, and we would get the really cheap kind, the cotton stuff, you could turn it around so that when if you were the person that was hitting, your padding would be on the outside. No, it'd be on the inside. The person who's blocking would be coming in, blocking out. You'd have the padding on the outside. The person who's hitting would have the padding, padding on the inside, so you'd have double padding. Okay, and that's why Seki liked the cheap stuff, because you couldn't do that with the stuff you strapped on with the foam pads and all that other stuff. But he expected, and the other side advantage of it is, and I even did this in junior high. The kids, I'd have the upper belts wearing padding, is when they took the padding off and they blocked, they realized how hard they were blocking. And that's a real learning experience, because you know, on the one hand, you know, there are times when you don't want to, you know, the purpose of a block is to ideally deflect a blow or redirect it, something of that sort. Okay. But a good hard block can stop a fight real fast, because if someone swings at you and you block really hard and it hurts them, if they have any marbles going on upstairs, they may say, you know, maybe I really don't want to pursue this. Okay? And you haven't done anything to attack the person. All you did was protect yourself. Okay, last one. Stop. Okay, if the same problem arises if they're wearing a shoe or a boot, you don't get a feel for their foot or their anatomy that well, and so you tend to do whatever you're doing, and it's actually going to cause greater stress to their ankle and leg joints. So if you do that, anytime you're having students wearing any type of padding, or, you know, gloves or boots or headgear, you really have to be much more careful with them in terms of what you're doing technique-wise, because there's a much greater chance that you're actually going to injure them. Okay, enough of La Boca. Okay, we're going to, who wants to stomp my face and stop me from talking?
All of us just read.
Group stomp. Okay. Who wants to do this? Okay, fine. Okay. Where's the tape? I don't.
Go on the far side from me.
Am I going to fall into this, or what?
It depends on my mood, but I'll try and have you go that way. Okay. Now, again, the number one rule is you have to protect yourself, and you don't get up until you are sure he is not. Until you're sure he's down and in a position where he can't do anything. Okay, so he's going to come in with a stomp to your face. Okay, you're going to block with both hands. Make a fist. Okay, we're going to take him that way. So I'm going to take, one hand's going to grab the ball of his foot, the other hand's going to grab the heel. Okay, all I'm going to do is I am going to pull with my left, I'm going to go clockwise with his foot, and I'm going to turn to my left. Okay? And he's going to go. If I do this fast, he cannot turn fast enough. It should break his ankle.
I can feel that.
Okay? There's, even barefoot, there's a lot of torque on this, and you really have to go slow. Do not go, even here, do not go any faster than your uke can go. Okay? Again, he comes in, block it, okay? By this time he turned his ankle because he's a karate person. Okay? So this time I cross-blocked because I felt his ankle turn as he came in, so that it's just an automatic. Okay, again, grab, okay? Now I've got it corked a little tighter, don't I?
What's that?
I said I have it corked a little tighter than before.
I'm trying to make sure that I don't...
Okay, and all I'm going to do is turn, okay, and I'm going to turn this, I'm just going to turn it like there's no tomorrow. Okay? He's got one good foot left. He can hobble off. Okay?
It's an automatic transmission car, it's fine.
Okay. If, go ahead again. If, oh, now he's going to go the other way. Okay. He's still, try to, okay, again.
What do you want me,
Oh, yeah, it's okay. I just won't throw you for real. Again, now he's got his foot turned in that direction. In this case, again, the heel is here. I'm going to go clockwise, and he's going to turn the other way, but he's still going to go. Okay? Yeah, he's going to spin around. And if you do this for real, yeah, if you do this for real, he will literally spin around in the air, but it won't help him. Because if you've ever heard bones break, you don't want to hear it a second time. You will hear it. It'll be a loud crack like a broomstick breaking, and he will go down. So we're going to have you try this. Well, yeah.
Position, so
Turn your feet toward that wall with the clock and do it now.
Swivel butt.
want me on this side?
Okay. Okay, stop. Okay, it's got to be difficult. It's going to turn this all the way around on me. Okay, I'm here. I'm going to crank this around, turn him this way, and turn. Okay, whichever way you are going, you turn it that way. Whichever way, whichever side, wherever his heel is, that's the direction you're going to turn. Okay?
I can't turn my body as fast as you can turn my body.
Oh, no, because, and who mentioned this earlier? I think it was Dave mentioned it with the two circles. Okay, the center circle can always move. Okay, let me put it this way. He has to move around. I have a smaller circumference here. It's not that I am going any faster than he is. Okay, what happens is because he has a larger circumference to his circle, he has to move. He's got a greater area, or what do you call that thing around the end of a circle? He has a greater distance to cover to complete the circle than I do. Okay, and that's what.
Much smaller.
Yeah, and so I've got a small circle. He got a big circle. Okay, and he can't compensate. That's why things break. Wrist lock. That's why the wrist goes, because all this moving takes a lot more effort and distance than turning the wrist. Okay, so we're going to have you try this a couple, 3 times. Question?
No.
Okay.
Just
Going to have you try this a couple, 3 times, okay?
Question is, what did you mean by "we're getting too experienced"?
What
You said we're getting too
it means
experienced.
physically we're getting older. We don't move as well as we used to, or as loosely.
I was looking for something a lot more profound than that.
I wanted to be uplifted. That's